Tallahassee area, Big Bend area football fans, what's going on? My name is Mark Adams, and welcome to another edition of the Extra Point. I'm not going to waste anyone's time. Let's go ahead and jump into the 4Q Rewind. We're going to run down some scores from last week. Let's break down some games, and we had a lot of teams that really bounced back in a great way after what was really a rocky first week one for a lot of teams. So it was nice to see some of our programs throw some W's in the win column. So let's go ahead and run it down. Rickers taking on Childs on a Thursday night. Rickers coming out a big winner, 41-16 over the Timberwolves. Raiders moved to 1-1 on the year, and it was good to see Michael Townsend back to form. The quarterback threw for 209 yards, had 2 touchdowns, and ran for 103 yards and 2 more scores. So it was nice to see Rickers' offense getting back into form. Davion Jenkins has 17 tackles for the Raider defense and 2 tackles for a loss. Timothy Miller had 13 tackles. And hold on, we got some more names. Linebacker Akari David had 4 sacks, and Preston Loggins had 3 sacks. And that was the Raider defense, and it really showed there for Rickers to be in a position like they were last week, of course taking a tough loss and then bouncing back in a great way. This is the Rickers that we all saw that was in championship form. So Raiders putting one in the win column. Childs falling to 0-2. Hopefully they'll get a chance to bounce back in the weeks to come. Meanwhile, going around the capital city, Lincoln taking on Gobby. And whenever these two teams get together, it's going to be a close ball game. Get your popcorn because something special is going to happen. Gobby put up a furious comeback, but it wasn't enough. Trojans able to hold on 40-37. Trojan QB Perry Fisher was 12 of 15 passing for 268 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then he added another one using his legs on the ground for 5 total TDs. And, just again, another great win for Lincoln, being able to bounce back after a rocky week one out in Niceville. You see 2 things night and day. First was Lincoln's offense, and the second one, Lincoln's defense. Let's go ahead and talk about those guys. Raylan Wilson led all defenders with 15 tackles, and then linebacker Amarion LaRoche added another 12 tackles and 2 sacks. Anytime you can get your team within the span of a week to get a complete offensive and defensive turnaround, it spells good things. A lot of coaches like to say the most growing you're going to do is between weeks 1 and 3, and Lincoln's already out to a great start. But let's talk about an impact player that Lincoln had. Christian Ducatoro. I've been talking about this young man all summer. He's poised to have a great breakout season. Led all receivers with 130 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Moving around the area, Florida High moves to 3-0 on the year. Seminoles are hot right now with a 28-0 win over Gadsden County. And really, that was just a tough, hard-fought win for the Seminoles. Really going on the road and then being able to put up a good fight offensively, but then to shut out the Jaguars. It was nothing but good things for Coach Hickman and his defense. But let's talk about the quarterback. Drew Farrell stepping in once again for the injured Trey Donaldson. Had another exceptional night. 11 of 14 passing for 168 yards and a score. Then a new kid on the block, but not really. He's been playing like he's been there the whole time. Rydell Popple, running back, led all rushes with 61 yards. 2 touchdowns, and wide receiver Brooks Hickman, we're going to be looking to call his name some more this year, had 94 yards receiving with 4 catches and a touchdown. Ashton Hampton led all defenders with 12 tackles, and Jelani Hall added 2.5 sacks for the Noles. The doors seem to be opening for the Seminoles this year as they're poised not only to make a great regular season run despite their tough schedule, but really in the postseason is what it's all about. And if the Noles can stay healthy, look to see them playing in December. Let's bring it back into the capital city. Leon taking on FAMU High, and this was the win that the Lions were looking for. 53-26 over the Baby Rattlers. Running back Centel DeShazer made Leon look like the old Leon. Led the Leon offense in all rushes with 162 yards on the ground on 23 carries and 4 touchdowns. They just kept feeding him all night, and it really showed. Leon again looking for that big win, and I think they found it. Linebacker Malachi Segura led the defense with 8 tackles, and defensive back Kamari Jones added an INT for the Lions. Then we got to talk about special teams because they are special. Kicker Jack Brooks had field goals of 24 and 47 yards. was perfect on extra points, a perfect 5 for 5, and then picked up an errant snap and threw it for a 2-point conversion. He was very busy on the night, but a complete win by Leon. Coach Jan talked to us before the season started and was looking for his team to come together, and it looks like they found some pieces, especially with Mr. DeSager. Putting up yardage like that only spells good things for the Lions as they move through a very tough schedule, but definitely trying to make their way into the playoffs. A big win for Leon, 53-26 over FAMU High. Monroe taking on Chipley. They were big winners, shutting out the Tigers 16-0. Bobcat quarterback Joshua Brown led the offense with 85-yard rushing and 1 touchdown while throwing for another 84 yards. The power of the offense, he seems to be working pretty well back there with Taz Walker, the other quarterback. And it'll be interesting to see if Monroe carries on this trend using 2 quarterbacks. But our linebacker, Antonio Vasquez, led all defenders with 7 tackles, and then defensive back Amari Bowden added an interception for the Bobcats. Bobcats are on the move again and out to a 2-0 start, their second 2-0 start in as many seasons. And for Coach Leckie and his group, they're trying to repeat history here. Had a perfect 10-0 season last year and trying to make some more special things happen this season. Really for Monroe, if they're able to stay healthy and navigate their schedule, they've got some new opponents on there, and everything seems to be coming together quite nicely for Monroe as they are now 2-0 on the year. McClay taking on Brookwood. They hit the road and head up to Thomasville. Marauders are able to outlast the Brookwood Warriors 34-27 on a great effort by QB Michael Grant. He was 29 of 36 passing with 2 touchdowns, and the offense as a whole generated 562 yards. Man, they just found a way to spread the love around on offense. On defense, Jim Mura had 14 tackles and a game-ending, a walk-off interception. You don't see too many of those. Kicker Tucker Hicks had a great night, was a perfect 4 for 4 on PATs and hit field goals of 15 and 32 yards, and also added a couple of touchbacks for the Marauders, who were able to now jump back out to 1-0 after the previous matchup against Hamilton County got rained out. Coach Raymer found a way to keep his guys motivated and busy coming into this week. For McClay, it's going to be about maintaining consistency and really trying to balance out what is really just a tough schedule. They've got some really pivotal matchups coming up, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. For Suwannee, this is a team that I don't really think Kyler Hall meant to set it up this way, but they've been a second half, this team so far, in each of their first 2 games, not scoring a single point until the second half. Watch out, here come the Dogs. 43-13, big winners over Westside out of Jacksonville, and all of those 43 points came in the final 2 quarters. Really for the Bulldogs, like I said, I'm not sure Coach Hall drew it up that way, but whatever he's telling them at halftime, it's doing the trick. After going scoreless in the first half, the Bulldogs explode again, moved to 2-0 on the year, and running back Malachi Graham had an extremely successful night, powering the offense behind 3 touchdowns total, 2 on the ground and 1 special kick return to help the Bulldogs move to 2-0 on the year. Port St. Joe hooking up with Jefferson County, and it was all Sharks all the time, 36-0 over the Tigers. Sharks offense has really found their groove. Quarterback Colin Amundsen was 7 of 10 passing for 154 yards and a touchdown. And then DJ Oliver, you got to check this kid out. He has been absolute lights out since the season began. He ran for another 100 yards, totaling 116 on 12 carries and 3 touchdowns. If you haven't had a chance to watch Port St. Joe, they have got weapons all over the field, and they look to be one of the dominant teams in 1A. I look for them to really not only establish themselves as the season goes on, but toughness of schedule, they seem to be very balanced. And this is a team last year that really took their lumps and brought back a lot of people that have had a ton of experience in Amundsen, and then Nick Jefferson, who also had 4 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. But when you add in that special running back, DJ Oliver, they just become an entirely different team. If they're hard to defend on the run and they're hard to defend on the pass, and they've got an experienced passer and a great running attack, they're probably one of the more balanced teams in 1A right now. Also moving around the area, NFC hit the road and went out to take on Mariana, and man, a tough loss for the Eagles as the Bulldogs edged NFC 35-34. Eagle QB J.P. Pickles had a great night with 16 of 25 passing for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns in spite of the loss. Running back Devon Jackson also ran for 119 yards on 7 carries and 1 touchdown. And linebacker Bryce Google, yes, that's his name, led all defenders with 15 tackles. And really for NFC, it's probably going to be an opportunity for them to find their identity as they fall to 1-1 on the year. Hard-fought game, but still trying to put pieces together with some young guys. But they've got plenty of experienced veterans that are really thrown into the mix that'll help guide and right the ship, hopefully, as they look to bounce back next week. Blountstown, another big winner over Lanier County out of Georgia, 48-27. Tigers take it, and Blountstown just whooping up on all the Georgia schools. Their second victory in a row against the boys from the Peach State. Quarterback Josh Pope was 4 of 7 for 116 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then FSU commit wide receiver Jordan Pride caught 2 of those for touchdowns for 69 yards receiving. And for Blountstown, I see an epic matchup coming between them and Port St. Joe later on in the season. Running back Amarion Hoover ran for another 170 yards on 12 carries, and linebacker Robert Rosa, mentioning that man again, had 7 tackles to lead the defense for the Tigers. Some other scores from around the area: Lafayette Mayo downs Hamilton County 21-0 to move to 2-0 on the season. And then Sneeze, the Pirates, another dominant team in 1A, takes Arnold 53-16. And so those are your scores from around the area. We definitely are looking forward to week number 3 as this season rolls along. So we want to make sure everybody keeps it locked to fourquartersonline.com. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for more news and updates. This has been Mark Adams for Four Quarters Online, and this has been the Extra Point.